Last year, a lot of organizations, including ourselves, ran intense campaigns to try and encourage citizens to vote and to vote wisely. We ran our campaigns under two hashtags, hashtag makosa ni yangu and hashtag nitacheza kama mimi. And the way we did it was that we were trying to show people the relationship between involving themselves in governance and the experiences, their daily experiences of their lives. So for example, how does voting affect whether you have water in the house? How does voting and voting wisely affect, how your child goes to school, or even how you get a job, or the price of unga at the supermarket. We also partnered with a couple of CBOs here in Malindi to do on-ground activations where we did skits.
Semani Visions Magnet Theater tukishirikiana na Telesi Trust na Shina's Art. Tuko na vichekesho.
We did music, we did poetry, spoken word, and we went into different villages around Malindi town to engage the community on the same issues and to get them to understand the direct line that links between voting and the experience of their lives. We're glad that in our own small way we contributed to getting Kenyans to vote. But then the question that occurred to us after elections is this: what next? So I voted. What next? I didn't vote. What next? It is this question that got us thinking, what do citizens do after elections? Do they just sit and wait for leaders to, implement whatever manifestos they said? Do they just wait for the next elections? What exactly happens? So we went into a couple of villages around Malindi and even Malindi town itself, asking citizens, what do they do after the elections? And that is where we found out that a lot of citizens did not know who their leaders are. They could not mention the names of their governors. They could not mention the names of their senators. Some could not mention the name of the MCAs. And others could not mention names even of the president. And this to us now was a big finding, because if we are trying to engage government, if we are supposed to engage government, and if we are supposed to hold our leaders accountable, then first of all it begins by knowing who they are, where they are, how to access them, what they can offer us, and so on. We then started thinking about designing a campaign that would address this issue. And then just before we started, we realized that we had only sampled a few villages in Kilifi where we identified this problem, and we had only sampled a couple of people. So we wanted to establish the extent to which this problem was prevalent. So we're now partnering with 10 CBOs from across Kilifi County to collect data from all the 7 constituencies regarding, and the questions are simple. Do you know who your leaders are? Do you know the name of your MCA? Do you know the name of your governor? Do you know where to find them? Do you know who the president of the country is? And then we're going to take all this information and we will publish it. When we have all the data in and we've seen the size dip, we hope to use that information to design a very targeted campaign that will inspire citizens around the selected villages in Kilifi or selected places in Kilifi to involve themselves in governance, to want to know what their leaders are up to want to know where to find these leaders, to want to even engage with them. This is not something that we will run over a course of a month or 2 months. It's something that will go on for years, because Civic, what we learned, the biggest lesson that we learned from last year was that civic education and civic empowerment is a continuous process. It's not something that needs to wait for elections or needs to wait for a big political thing to happen, like a referendum for it to happen. It's something that needs to go on every single day. It's wearing a new mental model of citizens to know that it is important for them and it's a responsibility that they have to engage their local leaders even beyond elections. It's important for them to understand that elections are just the beginning of a whole process that affects the services that they eventually get. Once the data is in, we shall share it with you, and we hope that you get to interact with it, you get to use it even for your own projects, And if there's any way that you think that you can contribute to this program, we welcome you to DM us on our social media platforms, or even send us an email at dm@thelesi.org.